Hey Aries, welcome to your monthly reading for March. Let's see what March has in store for you guys. Messages for Aries for March, please. Messages for Aries for March. Ooh, that one wanted to jump. Okay, right out the gate, we have illusions, confusion, not seeing clearly, escapism, addictions, and fantasy. So this might have been a position that you were kind of in a little bit before. Maybe you were a little bit confused and conflicted on what direction to take here in February. And now in the month of March, you're going to become a little more clear about what direction you're going. Sometimes when we have a lot of options, or we have a lot going on, we can get into a little bit of a state of confusion, which can create that, illusionary kind of energy here. Let's go a little bit further and see what this is about. Messages for Aries, please, for March. We have a couple that came out. We have meditation and love. Okay. So this is saying that, you might need to take a little bit of time to kind of take a step back, get a little bit quiet and enter into that heart space so that things can become a little more clear. So when we get up in our mind a little bit, we have a lot going on, or maybe we're worried how things are going to turn out or what to do next. We can tend to get in a little bit of a state of confusion where we're not really sure what direction to go, and so we just kind of get into that frenetic thinking stage and we just begin to overthink everything. And then we just aren't really clear on what to do or what direction to go or how to go about a situation. So it looks like you're being guided here to take a moment to just get a little bit of quiet time, maybe some quiet contemplation, maybe go for a walk, maybe just take time to sip a nice hot cup of tea and just really, take a moment to get quiet in your mind so that you can drop down into that heart center and maybe feel things out versus trying to think them out. Let's see what else. Messages for Aries for March, please. All right. We have sadness and anger coming out. Okay, so this might be, a result of a little bit of a situation that maybe left you not feeling exactly your best. This may be causing you to have a little bit of self-doubt, some self-worth and self-esteem issues. This could have been the end of a relationship or the end of a job that just kind of put you in a position of maybe just not feeling your best. Maybe you're just, overthinking some things and you're just kind of thinking, maybe this is my fault. Maybe I could have done something different, or going into a place where you're just not really feeling too great about the future. And so again, this is asking you to take a step back, quiet the mind a little bit, get out of that headspace that's causing confusion. When we get into a place where we're really upset about something or really sad about something, maybe someone has let us down in a relationship and, we just don't really understand what happened, maybe why that relationship ended, or maybe we got into an argument and we're not really sure exactly what happened. Things just kind of blew up and we're not exactly sure, what exactly happened and what we do from here. So you may be in a place where you're just kind of feeling a type of way about a situation regardless, and just need to maybe have a little bit of love and compassion for yourself at this time. Maybe stay away from those negative thoughts, that negative way of thinking, so that you can get more clear-minded and clear-headed on things, because chances are pretty good that the way that you're seeing things right now may not be exactly what's actually happening. Okay, sometimes we'll begin to think a lot of thoughts about things and we'll begin to just try to fill in the blanks because we want to understand them. And so because of that place of wanting to desperately understand something so that we know what to do next with it and to sort it out and move on from it, we tend to almost create situations that really aren't in existence. And so they can be, a little bit of a anxiety riddled feeling, maybe even a little bit of a paranoia. So you want to make sure that you're in a place where you're of a calm mind and state so that you're actually seeing the situation for what it is, because then you're going to know, which way to go. You're going to want to feel that out and what feels good for you. Let's pull some tarot and just get a little more detail on this situation. Here I have the Five of Pentacles coming out in the recent past, and this can be indicative of, falling on some financially hard times. You may have lost a job. You may be struggling a little bit financially, or maybe something financially didn't come through for you. And so maybe you didn't get a job that you were hoping for, or maybe you did indeed lose that job, or, something else is coming out here. But either way, this looks like it's taking a hit on your self-esteem and your self-worth. And so you're just feeling a little bit down and out. And that's okay. We all go through that. What you need to understand is that we all have seasons of life, but it doesn't mean that that stuff stays that way forever. If you really think back into your life and you look at the past, look how far you've come and how far you've made it. So before you might have had other situations where you thought, oh, this is the end. I'm never going to get back on my feet again. I'm never going to find that job again. I'm never going to have a good relationship, and maybe I will just struggle financially forever. And the reality is that you really won't, but it's okay to ride through that season of time and ride those emotions, because it's okay to have those emotions, to feel some sadness, some anger toward a situation, or even yourself. Maybe you did make a mistake and make a bad decision. Maybe you left a job before finding another one because you just were upset at the time, and so now you're regretting that a little bit. And so it's okay to feel that way, though. Either way, you're going to be able to get more clear, and you're going to actually go into a better direction. It may not feel like it right now, but you're just going to have to kind of, have some compassion for yourself at this time. It's okay. We all go through these seasons. Let's look at the present energy and see present energy for Aries for March, please. Okay. I have the Six of Pentacles and the Hermit here. It looks like you might be in a place where you're just really trying to go within and try to find out what next move to make. What's going to feel better for you? How can you get on your feet financially again? How can you get things to even out, stabilize, and get back on your feet here and feeling a bit good? This can even have to do with a relationship or even a job where you're just trying to figure out, hey, how can I get on my feet again? I made a little bit of a mistake. I left this job, and now I'm struggling to pay my bills, but how can I come up with a creative solution to either find a new job and get things kind of back in balance again? Let's look at the near future energy for Aries for March. Near future for Aries. Okay, I have the Seven of Pentacles. And this is really coming up with that plan. Okay, so this is when you get a little bit clear, you get out of that mind and not, begin to overthink things a little bit, and you're going to become more clear on getting an action plan in place. You're going to be able to adequately assess what's taken place in the past, what, seeds you've planted in the past that produced fruits and, worked out well for you, and what you've done in the past that maybe didn't work out as you had expected. And so things didn't turn out so well. And so this is going to be a place where you're going to be able to kind of take a moment to really evaluate things. This is usually when we're in a place where we're completely reevaluating either a situation or sometimes multiple situations in our life. And it's trying to call you back into yourself so that you can follow your own heart and your own guidance, because all of the answers really are within. It's just kind of getting quiet and out of that mind where we can feel like there are no answers and we don't really know what direction to go. That can confuse us. But it looks like here in the near future, you're going to get really clear and have some actionable steps to take here. I have here in the underlying overall energy here as the Three of Swords here. So you might have actually had a relationship end, a job end, something that was just a bit devastating to you. And I can see why the energy that you're in right now is the way that it is. But like I said, this is really for a season. We have to ride those waves of the seasons that we're in sometimes, and they're not always easy. And it seems like you're in a place where you just need to have that compassion for yourself and give yourself grace and time to just really see things a little bit more clearly, okay? We may think that we need to rush, rush, rush and get those answers so that we know what to do so we can hurry up and fix our situation. But what you're being guided to do is to really just kind of get quiet and go inside, and that way things will become more clear, okay? Believe it or not, that actually will get you an answer much more quickly, and you'll have a clear answer on what to do. You'll be able to adequately assess things like it's showing here in the near future with the Seven of Pentacles. You'll have a better idea of what worked, what doesn't work, and what do I want to do from here. Let's get you some advice, Aries, for the month of March, and see what you're going to, maybe some steps that you can take that will help you to resolve this matter. Here I have the Nine of Wands. Okay, so this is just getting really clear on some of these patterns. Maybe this is a pattern that you've been in. Maybe there's a pattern of a relationship playing out where maybe you've always been the breadwinner, maybe you've always been the one to pay the bills and take on the responsibility. Something here either way has been a bit out of balance, whether this is an unfair job that you've been in where you're being asked to do more than what you're actually getting paid for and you're getting grossly underpaid, or maybe you've undervalued yourself and put yourself in a job that you thought was going to work out and maybe would become something, but really hasn't played out. So maybe you accepted, less pay than you normally would or what you're qualified for. And now, you're kind of regretting that decision. This can also be a relationship where you have been the one always keeping that job, always being steady and stable and reliable, and always putting in a lot of energy and effort into this relationship. And this person just kind of continually lets you down and leaves you in a state of just kind of heartbreak. Maybe you have a lot of hopes for this situation and you're just finding that it's just not really going the way that you had, hoped it had. But it looks like there might be a little bit of a pattern here that you might need to take time to reflect on and take note of. Somehow, some way, there is a pattern that's playing out that just kind of is keeping you a little bit in this energy. Of creating imbalance in your life. Let's take a look at what might be hidden in this situation. Maybe this will help you gain more clarity. What's hidden for Aries in March, please? For Aries. Okay, I have the Two of Cups here. So what's hidden in the background is it looks like there might be a relationship at the core of this issue, okay? This might have been a relationship that recently ended. This might have been a long-term relationship, a short-term relationship. This could even be a family member or a friendship that you found, wants to be very giving and balanced in your life and really, breathing, positivity into your world, but maybe not so much now. Maybe now, the dust has settled a little bit, the, rose-colored glasses have worn off a little bit, and maybe this person is showing you their true colors. It looks to me that there really is something that's unfair in this situation, but it looks like here in the near future that if you just kind of take a step back from it for a moment, you might actually come up with a creative solution that works for you. So this might be something where you're either going to possibly decide, to end this relationship if it hasn't already ended, or maybe you're going to be able to come up with a creative idea on how you can bring this back into balance. This may be a need to have a conversation with this person or this situation and, just express what's happening here and how it's making you feel and see if there's something that you can work out. Chances are pretty good that if you have someone that really is aligned with you, they, really do care about your well-being, they're going to be open to this conversation and they're going to be open to trying to make things work with you and find a way to make both of you feel balanced in this situation. Let's take a look at what you don't see coming, Aries. What you don't see coming for March. Okay, I have the Page of Pentacles. So here it looks like you might actually come up with a creative solution. The Page of Pentacles is, a solid offer. It could be a solid, idea, and it can be actually seeing out. So with the Pentacles, it's a very solid, grounded energy. And so this is a newer energy. And so this looks like there might be the possibility of a whole new idea coming in to play here in this situation that you might find will make you feel a little bit more balanced. If not, this is the energy of you finding something new in March, whether it's a new job, a new relationship, or just feeling really good about where you're going in the new direction you're going to go in. Because maybe in this period of contemplation here in the near future with the Seven of Pentacles, you're going to maybe really understand, hey, this is a pattern that I've been in, and I just really don't want to repeat it. And so sometimes, in order to break that pattern and get out of that cycle that we've been in, the first step is just recognizing that there is a pattern to begin with. And then we can not do it again. And so this might be the situation that you're in. So overall, Aries, it looks like you're going to end up finding some kind of solution to this situation, one that makes you feel really good, makes you feel really balanced, and you're going to know which direction you're going to go in, and you'll get out of that state of confusion that you might have already been in. Just give yourself grace and time, Aries. It's okay. This is just a season. You will ride through this. You will get through this, and it will all be okay. Go easy on yourself, Aries. Thank you for joining me for this reading, and until the next time, I'll see you again.